What if you were Kim Jong-un, from godchild of Pyongyang to the most dangerous man alive? Segment 1. The Palace. The first thing you understand about yourself is that you are not like other children. Not because anyone tells you this. They never need to. It is simply the texture of your existence. The private estates, the horses, the swimming pool, the bowling alley, the car your father had modified so you could drive it at 7 years old before most children have learned to ride a bicycle. The sushi chef, a Japanese man named Kenji Fujimoto, who becomes your closest childhood companion because he is one of the very few people your father trusts inside the walls. Outside these walls, the 1990s famine is consuming North Korea. Between 2 and 3 million people will die of starvation in the years you spend on horseback inside the palace compound. You do not know this with any clarity. The walls are high. The world inside them is complete. Your father, Kim Jong-il, is the supreme leader. Your grandfather, Kim Il-sung, founded the nation and is worshipped as a god even after his death. The dynasty you were born into is the only communist monarchy on earth. You are the third son, the youngest, and it is not yet clear which brother your father is watching most carefully. Your mother is an opera singer. Your father loved privately, but never acknowledged publicly. She will die of cancer when you are in your early 20s. You also have a half-brother, Jong-nam, who grows up separately and will spend his adult life in exile in Macau, trying to forget who he is. He will not succeed. Segment 2. Switzerland. You are 12. Your father sends you to Bern, Switzerland under a false name. Pak-un, son of a North Korean diplomat, the story goes. You live with your aunt in a flat on Kirchstrasse in a quiet neighborhood. Your neighbors see 4 Asian children playing basketball outside with unusually protective adults hovering nearby. They do not know what they're looking at. You enroll in a German-speaking public school. You do not speak German. When the other children talk to each other and you cannot understand, something in you turns sharp. Classmates will later say you kicked them and spat at them in these early weeks because you are the son of a god king, alone in a country that does not know or care, and the language barrier makes you feel something you have never felt before. Small, but the German comes, and with it, normal life. Your aunt makes snacks, you play with Legos. You ski in the Alps. You develop a real friendship with a Portuguese boy named João, who helps you with German while you help him with maths, and who only discovers your true identity years later when your face appears on the world's front pages. Most of all, you watch basketball. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. You go to sleep holding the basketball. You study Jordan's precision, his will, his psychological dominance. In 2000, your father orders you back to Pyongyang mid-year. Your classmates never see you again. Segment 3. The training. You are 17 and back in North Korea. What you carry from Bern is hard to name. The knowledge that the world outside the walls exists, that ordinary life is possible, and that you will never have it. This sits inside you as both a wound and a weapon. You study at Kim Il-sung University, physics, military strategy, the complete works of your grandfather and father. You learn the mythology of your family from the inside as both scripture and instruction manual. In 2009, your father has a stroke. The succession question becomes urgent. Quietly, the machinery begins to orient toward you. In September 2010, your father makes you a 4-star general and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission in the same week. You have no military experience. Everyone understands what this means. Nobody says it out loud. Segment 4. The funeral. December 17th, 2011. Your father dies of a heart attack on his private train. You are 27 years old, or 28. Even your exact birth year is a state secret, adjusted for auspiciousness. The regime waits nearly 2 days before announcing the death. When the announcement comes, it is delivered by a weeping newsreader in Pyongyang and triggers scenes of mass grief across the country that go on for days. You walk beside your father's hearse through the frozen streets of Pyongyang. You are crying. The cameras catch this. The world watches the footage and tries to read it. Is the grief real? Is this performance? Is this a terrified young man who did not want this?
You're looking very stable
Is it
today.
a calculating
No sudden
successor
movements,
who
okay?
knows
Let's just
exactly
talk.
what the cameras need?
I mean, it's not like you're
Probably
going to explode or
all
anything,
four
right?
at once.
Right?
You have been trained your entire life to be a performance. By now, the performance and the person have merged in ways even you cannot fully separate. The general consensus among the intelligence agencies of the world: you will not last 2 years. The old guard will manage you from the shadows. Jang Song-thaek, your uncle by marriage, your father's most powerful aide, the man who knows where every body is buried, will be the real power. You are too young, too inexperienced, too unknown. They are wrong about all of it. Segment 5. The Purge. You move quickly and without hesitation. Within months, you begin removing your father's generals, men decades older, infinitely more experienced, who expected to be the power behind the throne. You promote young officers. You place loyalists in every critical position. You study the lesson your grandfather's generation learned in blood. The most dangerous moment for any leader is the first year, when the old guard has maximum leverage and your grip is minimum. In December 2013, you have your uncle Yang Song-thaek arrested in front of the full Politburo, dragged from his seat by security officers, while the rest of the assembled party elite watches in silence. He is tried, convicted, and executed. A man who was married to your father's sister, who was at your father's deathbed, who you stood beside in front of the cameras as you walked behind the hearse. The regime's announcement calls him despicable human scum. His photograph is removed from every archive. He is photoshopped out of history. By 2016, at least 340 officials have been purged or executed. Some of these will later reappear alive, demonstrating that not every report can be verified. But the message is clear regardless of the specific numbers. You are not a puppet. You are not managed. You are the Kim. Segment 6. The Bomb. You understand the nuclear program the way your grandfather understood the army. Not as a military asset, but as a survival mechanism. The regimes that gave up their weapons programs, Libya, Iraq, were destroyed. The regimes that kept them were not. This is the central lesson of your era, and you have absorbed it completely. Between 2011 and 2017, you conduct more nuclear tests than your father and grandfather combined. You develop intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching the American mainland. You conduct launches at a pace that confounds the intelligence agencies attempting to track the program. Each test tightens the sanctions. Each sanction is presented to the North Korean people as evidence of American aggression. The logic is circular and deliberately so. The bomb creates the threat that justifies the bomb. In 2018, you walk across the demilitarized zone into South Korea, the first North Korean leader ever to do so, and shake hands with President Moon. That same year, you sit across from Donald Trump in Singapore and then in Hanoi, and the world watches as a reality television president and a hereditary God King attempt to negotiate the fate of the Korean peninsula. The Hanoi summit collapses without agreement. You walk away. Trump calls you Rocket Man. You find this useful. Segment 7. The God. You are 40. You have aged visibly, rapidly. State media photographs show a man the Western analysts study obsessively for health clues. You have a wife, Ri Sol-ju. You have a daughter, Ju Ai, whom you have begun bringing to weapons tests and military parades. She is perhaps 13. She is learning to fire a rifle. She is learning what you learned, that the Kim family is the state, And the state is the Kim family. You still think about Michael Jordan sometimes, about the Swiss Alps and the Lego bricks, and Zhuo who helped you with your German, about the version of yourself that would have existed if your name had simply stayed Park-un. You do not speak of this. There are no conversations in your life where this kind of reflection is possible. The people around you are not friends. They are subjects, employees, and potential threats. You had your own uncle executed. You had your half-brother poisoned at an airport in Malaysia using a nerve agent wiped across his face by two women he did not know. The loneliness at the top of a dynasty is not the loneliness of being alone. It is the loneliness of being unable to trust any human contact as genuine. The only honest relationship in your life may be with the bomb, which does not flatter you, does not lie to you, and has not yet disappointed you. Segment 8. The weight. You are the third generation of a family that has built the most complete system of total control ever attempted. A country where the state penetrates every relationship, every conversation. 70 years and still standing while the world changed entirely around it. The dynasty continues because you have ensured it continues. Because the alternative, your family's fall, would be the end of everything the Kims have built, and the end of the specific safety that only absolute power provides. The world calls you a monster. Your own people call you the dear, respected comrade, the son of the nation. Between these two descriptions lives the actual person, the boy who played basketball with Zhuo in Bern and went to sleep holding the ball, who drove a car at 7 while his country starved on the other side of the palace walls, who walked into Singapore and sat across from the most powerful man in the world as an equal. You have the bomb. You have 25 million people. You have the name. Whether you chose any of this, whether choice was ever available, is a question you do not ask. In the country you rule, certain questions do not exist. You are what you were made to be, and what you were made to be controls a nuclear arsenal.